Welcome to the Upshot, Multi-World Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm the editor, Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me is Josh Mansfield on this Wednesday, September 24th. We are right between the Green Mountain Championship and the MVP Open. MVP Open begins tomorrow. GMC wrapped up on Sunday. And what a weekend it was. A throwback to times not that long ago, but long ago enough that it still feels special as Paige Pierce and Paul McBeth win an event at the same time in the year 2025. First time they've done that in 5 years, Josh. MVP Open 2020 was the last time those two co-won an event. Obviously, the two superstars of the 2010s, and back on top. It does feel fun, special, exciting. Like I don't know. Like it makes you wonder what 2026 will bring.
Yeah, it's so interesting because it was not that long ago that we were looking at Paul and Paige, and you're like, man, what are they? The end of last year in particular, right? Like, do they still have it? Are they going to still win a game? Like, it was just a real question, or win a tournament, and it was a real question mark. And at the beginning of the season, you saw the potential. They were playing well, and Paul gets his win at Idlewild, and it's momentous. And you're like, oh my gosh, like McBeth wins one. And in that interview with McBeth, it was really noteworthy, just talking about the injury. And it was very easy to forget, the way that the labrum injury probably played a role in affecting his competitiveness. But we also were talking about Paige at the beginning of the season. Like, oh my gosh, Paige is playing better than we've seen in years. And then she comes and continues her streak. She did win last year as well. And
it's now been 15 years of Paige winning an Elite Series or a major. Since 2011, she's done it. And, like up against it, right? Now Ricky has to try to keep his streak alive with just a couple tournaments to go here. And boy, Ricky didn't give himself much of a chance this weekend as he didn't show up to the tee on time. And not only did he not just get the regular penalty for being late to the 5-minute horn, but he was all the way late, into his actual tee time. So he took a par plus 4.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah. That he made a post and he was like, yeah, I missed my tee time. And I'm like, what? And I fully expected, and maybe this is to his credit, maybe, but it also makes me speculate. He wasn't like, oh yeah, I had car problems, or I don't know where he's staying, and so maybe he thought he was closer than he was. I don't know. He didn't share a lot of details, just that he was frustrated, which understandably so. But yeah, starting your tournament off 4 over is not the way you want to go.
I haven't seen an explanation of exactly what happened. I heard from someone who claimed to be on site that he was in the warm-up area. My guess is he just lost track of time or was chatting with somebody and just wasn't paying attention to the clock, and oops. It happens. What are you going to do?
The 4 strokes were not the difference maker.
No, not in this case.
Yeah. Because I think he went on to shoot an okay, round up besides the 4. So
let's dig into this tournament. And we're really excited to be joined by Paige Pierce a little bit later in the show to talk about the win and her season and what's on her mind. She thought she had some very interesting comments following her win on the Disc Golf Network, so we'll talk about that as well. And we get a 3-way playoff in FPO. Paige Pierce, Missy Gann, and Owen Scoggins end up going to the playoff, and right back to 18, where Paige, with her power, had given herself the advantage with a truly karmic reversal with a skip off of the bridge over on the OB side, right hand side of the fairway. And if she had not hit the bridge, definitely she would have been OB.
Oh, 100%.
So yes. She gets the skip into the fairway in regulation, able to set up for the birdie to get into the playoff, and then an absolutely gorgeous drive in the playoff to win. But what's crazy, Josh, is that Missy Gannon really should have won this tournament. I mean, she was up 6 strokes on Paige and 8 on Owen Scoggins going into the final round. Felt like one of those ones where, you wouldn't have to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out, no, Missy just had a terrible day. 965 rated, 1 birdie. And Paige, despite 2 double bogeys, back to back on holes 7 and 8, able to get enough birdies to shoot a 10.09 rated round and get into the playoff. Owen Scoggins with the best round of the group with a 5 down, 1024 rated, just 1 bogey.
Yeah, it was just flat from Missy.
So flat.
So
couldn't make a putt. Like
no.
7 for 11 C1, 0 for 10 C2.
0 for 10.
Brutal.
I mean, that is brutal. What, you think she's probably 20%, I mean even 2 strokes and she wins this tournament, right?
Yeah.
She makes 2 of those. Yeah, and 3 OB penalties. Just yeah, 22% circle 1 in regulation, right? And that's really, I think, the biggest killer. Paige was 39% circle 1 in regulation. Owen was 28% circle 1 regulation. Missy 22%. You need you need to be in the circle more. Just
a totally off round.
Yeah, which happens. It does, but it's
happened to Missy a bunch. I mean, sometimes it's been like 1 hole. Like if you think back to European Open, but she's had these, and that I forget what major it was. Now, was it U.S. Women's? She opens up with like a zillion bogeys in a row, and
she was like out.
Completely
she
out
was
of
like
contention.
Double digit. She was like 10 over par. Yeah.
It's been an issue this season.
Yeah.
For someone who's very consistent, like it's been noticeable that she's had these tournaments where she actually plays really well 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 rounds, but just has 1 round that kind of nukes her chances.
I know we'll do purse watch later. I wonder what the purse was. Maybe Missy just wasn't motivated by the money at this tournament.
No, the money was motivating.
Oh, money was motivating.
15K
okay.
for the winner.
Oh no. Yeah.
I mean, it would be a nice narrative, but sadly, it's one of the best payouts of the year. So
shoot. Oh man, yeah, but it was. I will say, set up for a great finish, so I'm not upset. Like
it's true.
I'm real glad that it ended up being what it was. And it's interesting, Charlie. I went and pulled like stats for the entire tournament, which also includes that stinker of a round. So 22% final round circle 1 regulation. She was 42% on the tournament. Like
wow,
just drastically off.
Yeah, I was looking. I mean, Missy actually played really well tee to green this weekend. It's just the performance on the putting green was just not good enough. Paige made 6 more circle 2 putts, and just way below her averages for the weekend, and obviously a bunch of that driven by that final round just being way off.
Yeah.
This was an interesting tournament at FPO. There was some real slog out there. Like, if you watch round 3, the top 2 cards had just 1 player that finished under par on the round. So first run at Fox, Paige shot a 4 down, and otherwise it was just like misery fest out there. This was like pretty tough sledding as a fan. Until like the back 9 of the final round, which was very, very exciting. And obviously a 3-way playoff is like not something you see very often in FPO. So that was fun, but it's felt at times really in both divisions this year. We had just people kind of limping into the finish. You look at this tournament last year and Kristen and Silva go to a playoff at 21 under, 10 strokes better than this year. I don't know. Players seem maybe fatigued. There's like the obviously Kristen leaving feels like it's kind of a damper on things. Just not the greatest quality of FPO disc golf this weekend.
Yeah. And it's so hard to explain. I cannot figure out what it is. And because like,
I mean, I think part of the problem is that Fox Run is not well tuned for FPO. I feel like it's getting worse.
But tell me why Kristen and Silva did 10 strokes better last year then.
Well, I mean, I think there have been a couple of changes, but they're not 10 strokes.
It's not 10 strokes.
No.
Sure. If you said 5, I might be like, okay, I hear you, right?
Yeah.
Like that is an acceptable explanation to me. Not 10.
But like, I don't know. 5 down being 1024 rated on the final day. Like, let's compare it to MPO.
Okay.
Where like a great round was 11 down. Like a comp, I don't know. I don't quite know how to comp.
Sure.
Because like that's 11 down on the final day was 1073 rated. Maybe you want it to be 1080. I don't quite know where the like draw the shot, sort of like parallel.
Gannon shot 13 down was 1088.
Yeah, but that's like a truly amazing round, right? I feel like that's more like a 1040 rated round in FPO. I don't know
if I agree with that.
1030 rated. That's what I'm saying. It's like we would have to do some kind of like distribution and compare the scores at different levels.
For one of our statisticians out there, I would love that. Like, it would
be nice to have like what's the 1100 rated round comp in FPO,
and then down from there. Yeah, that
feels
like
maybe
nice.
1040 is about right.
Because 1100,
the highest rated round ever in FPO is 1040. Is it 1050?
I thought it was like 1055.
I don't think it's. Oh no, it's 1065 now. Because it was Ella Hansen.
Yeah.
When it got updated from Worlds to 1065. That was a crazy ass round. Man, that it hurts me to look back at that scorecard just now because I'm remembering the bogey on 18 that like kept her from having a chance to win the tournament. Wow. 1065. So the previous high was 1059. So like maybe we should say 1055 is 1100 rated.
That seems right to me.
Okay. Well, the statisticians are going to be on it. I know that.
Oh yeah. I trust them. We have a couple of good ones. That
I guess my point is like if it's, it just feels like the course has some holes that are not like well balanced for FPO.
I don't disagree. But that does not explain the difference between last year and this year.
I agree with that.
That's well, I do not disagree objectively that this course could use a little bit more tuning, and there are several holes that need to be fixed. But I don't think it changes the narrative that this year there have been some weird tournaments. It's actually pretty remarkable because Fox Run is like kind of soft for MPO now.
I would say very soft for MPO.
Yeah, because you're right. Like the 13 down is high, like pretty high, but like there actually is just not a lot of scoring separation. You have a handful of holes that really separate nicely, but you have several that are, you're looking at north of 60%, or close to north of 60% on birdies. I don't know. It could be a little bit easier. I love this course though.
Are you're still in on this course? Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It is gorgeous.
I mean, on that point, we agree 100%.
It's gorgeous, and while there are holes that lack in scoring separation, I think that there's still danger on most of them. And I really like, there's two holes that I really see that I'm like, they don't even give you scoring separation. Hole 14, hole 15 for FPO, 73% got par, and then 62% got par respectively. 62% got par on hole 9. So that one as well. Now there's some that could be made easier, but generally the scoring separation is nice. It's just a little hard, right? Hole 5, for example, 47% got par, 38% got bogey. I'd love if that became 47% got birdie, 38% got bogey or got par, right? Shift that down. But
listen, here's the problem. Okay, there's not enough interesting holes in this course. 18, Absolutely fantastic. As one of the best. One of the best. And it also has great scoring separation. I love hole 18. But like what else is like stands out from this course in 2025?
I don't agree at all.
Rewind 10 years ago, I might feel differently, but like we just have some silly holes on this course.
Okay. The presence of silly holes does not mean there are not memorable ones. Because you're right, there are some silly ones. I also love the silly ones. Hole 6, I think it's great. I will
Josh,
never.
84% birdie rate in round 3.
I love it.
89% birdie rate in round 4. What is the point?
Because those suckers that got a bogey on that hole.
Okay, but like the 5% of people who like choke does not make a good hole.
I don't want a hole like that on every course.
Why do you want it on the course that you love the most?
Because I think it's so quirky and I think that's hilarious. But I disagree that there are memorable and good holes. I love hole 1. I think hole 1 is a fascinating starting hole. It's so interesting the way the slope plays. I also love hole 4 out to the lake. I love hole 5. Hole 9, the big par 5. I meant, the par 5.
The par 5 is
which
hole
is 7. 7. I always want to say it's 9, and I know it's not. Hole 7, I love.
So memorable. Josh knows it.
Just because I don't know the numbers.
I'm just kidding. I know.
I could draw that with a map and the landing zones. Like the downhill hole with the boulder on hole 9. Love it. I think that's memorable. I love 17 as well. I think 17 is a very like technical shot that is easy to screw up under pressure.
I really like 16, 17, 18 kind of like as a finishing stretch.
It's a great finishing stretch.
It's really good, but I don't know. I'm feeling a little worse about this tournament than I have in the past. You know, there weren't that many spectators there this weekend. Like it is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely gorgeous, but it's feeling like MPO has kind of surpassed this venue. And I don't really know what they can do about that.
It is soft. You know, you're right. I think though that spectators, we talk all the time about spectators. Totally get it. They're important. They bring money. There's also a real need to have courses that that our moms can jump on and look at the coverage and go, wow, people get to play
100%.
disc golf there. Like,
I'm with you 100%.
They will come watch because they play at venues like that. If we played at Winthrop or Winthrop-esque, courses and looks, if we play, MVP is also going to get that benefit, right? But I love Ledgestone. I love Ledgestone. If all of our tournaments looked like Eureka, we'd have a problem. If they like, and even some of our Midwest tournaments, it just there are courses that look good. They look like a park, and that's fine. But when you see just the absolute beauty of the nature at GMC and go, oh my gosh, like people play disc golf in places like that. I mean, that draws people into the sport. That makes it compelling for you, a little bit more casual viewer to watch. It's why I loved it. That is a big part of why I am engaged in the sport in the way that I am, is because I watch GMC and I'm like, man, what a destination to go play disc golf. Like that's the sport of disc golf. That's so sick. So it may not highlight the nuances of the competitive game to us hardcore fans as much, but for the casual viewer, I think that this is the best tournament on tour, without a doubt.
That's an interesting take. I feel like I wish I knew some total casuals, but like I don't think a lot of the casuals listen to this podcast.
They don't.
I guess here's what I'd say. I think that they need to stop basically running this course back. Like it's time for some significant rethinking of how this course should play for the pros. Because it's playing too hard, specifically Fox, but it's playing too hard for FPO and it's playing too easy for MPO. I know there's some general limitation on land, but like they could rethink some of these holes. It is an opportunity at this point to be thinking again. If they want to host a Worlds again, which I would be in favor of, honestly, I think they need to consider like how can we evolve this course for for the the next phase of the game.
Yeah. I have no problems with that.
Because the actual like the place, the setting is unbelievable. Maybe
unmatched.
As good as he gets.
It is.
Right?
It is.
It looks like the
unmatched.
top European courses in terms of just like sheer beauty, and the time of year that they play there. I just want the courses to meet the level. Like they're more or less the same as they were in 2018 for Worlds 7 years ago, and the game has changed.
It has. No, you're not wrong. I don't disagree with that. And I would absolutely be in favor of seeing what you could redo and change. But I love this tournament still.
All right, let's dig back into results here. I mean, Paige coming through big. She gets those back-to-back birdies on 17 and 18, and then goes into the playoff. Decides to walk up the fairway. Like there's just she's got some
takes
vigor.
Off running.
Yeah, she's got some vigor that like it felt like we didn't see there for a little while. And it's understandable because she was coming off of an injury where like you can't have that same kind of like trust in your leg. It just feels very, I don't know, poetic in some ways for,
it's interesting.
for Paige to win in the way that she did.
Agreed. I don't disagree. You call it vigor. I felt like she was trying to burn off some nervous energy. Because when she had that drive skip off the bridge, she went down the trail and like crouched down and like was like composing herself is what it looked like. And you can't see her face. It's just the shots from behind. But I think that there was some like just nervous pent up energy about the significance of this tournament and how bad she wants it. And I think running up the hill just like takes her mind off of it while she's going back up. I can understand the idea that cart ride is just like excruciating, like just thinking about what's coming next. At least she didn't have to sit next to her competitors to get up there though.
Just marinating in the stress. I mean, remember the iconic image from last year with like Kristen smiling and Silva looking like she had just seen a ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's personality in some ways, but
it's funny.
It felt
it's funny.
Telling.
Yeah, it did.
And Owen continuing to play great, despite the final round struggles and a disappointing second place finish. I mean, Missy Gannon was very solid this weekend, and I feel like we're in for an exciting finish. I mean, Missy, the defending champ at MVP, won an insane win last year. She hit that massive putt. We'll preview GMC a little later.
MVP.
Or, MVP, that is. And, won the point standings and ultimately won the Player of the Year award from the Pro Tour because she won MVP Open. And so, maybe considering that she played very, very well for 3 rounds, she's probably the favorite coming into MVP.
I think so. I don't know who else you would pick. I mean, Paige's odds obviously get a bump. Owen has good odds going at MVP, but Missy, and we'll talk more, but Missy has to be the favorite.
Holland Handley finishing 9th.
Holland who?
Slipping with her grip at the top of the Pro Tour standings. She's now realistically capable of blowing it and not winning the Pro Tour standings number 1. She would have to, so basically Owen or Missy would need to win. And then depending on which of those players wins, Holland would have to finish either 8th or worse, or I think 11th or worse. So like if she finishes around the 10th, or even like 9th, like she did this weekend, she puts herself in a dangerous spot. Now, I think the odds of her, finishing top 8 are pretty damn good, especially at this tournament where she's always played pretty well. But it is a little sketchy. Missy had an opportunity to, if she had won this tournament, have a very good chance to steal number 1 away again at MVP. She'll still have a shot, but not as good after not getting the win.
Holland has been just so flat.
Very flat.
Yeah. It's disappointing. It really is. After not missing top 5 all the way through Crokel, where she won, European Disc Golf Festival also took 5th. She then goes 8th Worlds, not bad. Ledgestone 29th, LWS at Idlewild 11th, and then D-Glow 3rd, and now GMC 9th. It's just okay.
She set a very high standard.
She did, but I mean, if I ask you to like rattle off players that you think could beat Holland week in and week out, and or just let's just say like by like ability, by pure, like if you just power rank people, generally, not just in this moment, but an FPO throughout the season, if you had to do a power ranking, Holland has to be in your top 5. And even if you want to go recently, I just think you're crazy to put Holland anywhere further than 6th. And so like over under 6th is where I see Holland as being like disappointing performance, which maybe that's harsh, but I just look at the FPO field right now and Holland's talent is so high that finishing outside of the top 6 is I think is odd for her. Now it's not going to happen every week, but I see a 9th and I say it's lackluster.
Understandable. I mean, I think 9th is definitively lackluster. I mean, she finished 2nd in the Pro Tour standings last year. She's on track to finish 1st this year and continue her crazy streak of improving every single year. And I think she's still got a great chance to do it. But,
I do too.
We'll see how she does with a little bit of like pressure. She hasn't really had a lot of pressure, it doesn't feel like. She's already overcome many of the things that would apply pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But hunting a major, that's like when the 4 majors were done, it's like, well, what else do you want her to do? She's already won a bunch of tour events. She's clearly the best player in the field. And I don't know, seems like she's dealing with some stuff off the course, and hopefully, this weekend sharpens her focus into this final stretch, and she can win the quasi major again.
Right. Should we talk a little more MPO real quick?
Yeah, let's talk MPO.
Okay.
Paul McBeth does it again.
He does it again.
No fluke, Josh.
Nope.
There shall be no fluke conversations. And I saw a bunch of good jokes about, people calling McBeth washed, or are idiots and blah, blah, blah. And I remember on this podcast, I had a hot take. I mean, I don't know when. Last year, 2 years ago, I said McBeth was done. I said he was washed.
I think
I was being a little tongue in cheek,
sure,
to be clear, but I do think at that point it felt like we'd seen the heyday of Paul come to a close. And I think I'm ready to fully say that I was wrong. And while, I certainly don't expect McBeth to start winning the way that he did in the peak of his career. I do think we have seen Paul climb back to the level of competitive play that he has shown for many years. And the difference to me is clearly the injury. Like he took a while. He played through injury for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was rehabbing for a while. And then he had to like re-find his form following injury. And now he's done those 3 things. And we are seeing what it looks like, which is elite performance from Paul McBeth again. And it's a welcome sight, let me tell you what.
Yeah, it definitely is. I want to, at the hazard of my own social media presence, I want to hazard to offer you a little bit of credit, because you had a qualification to your take that I thought was smart. Your qualification, I remember this distinctly, was not that Paul McBeth will never win again. It's that he may win, but he won't be relevant. And I don't know if that's the word exactly that you used, but I think that was kind of the description, right?
I think it's been proven wrong.
And yes, and I think that's a noteworthy distinction and a noteworthy description of Paul today, because you have guys who have won this season who are not relevant. Ben Callaway won this season. He's not relevant to storylines, right? He is not, and I don't want to say relevant in the sense of like, he couldn't win again. I totally think Ben Calloway could win again. I've
But
got a whole list.
We're not seeing Ben Calloway week to week on Disc Golf Network.
But he does not shape. He was a side plot in the series. He is not a through line main plot of the season.
Yeah.
Paul McBeth is. And
for sure.
It was
Macbeth has 11 top 10s,
right.
4 podiums and 2 wins.
And even if Paul had won a major prior to the end of this, like into the season, let's say he comes out and he just wins Champions Cup, there is still a very real possibility it would have felt like that was just a side plot. But Paul has demonstrated through both consistency and capacity to win that he is a relevant storyline. Is he the best player in the field? No, he is not. That distinction still belongs wholeheartedly to Gannon Buhr. But if we thought it was going to be a nice, clean transition from one era to the next, you were dead wrong. Well, and by you, I mean we were dead wrong. It's Paul is going to be here, and I will say, Gannon's storyline, the sports storyline, they're better for it.
Yeah. I mean, this is Macbeth's highest event rating in a win. Let's see, since PCS 2023, when he rated 1073. He did shoot a 1072 event to finish 4th at European Disc Golf Festival. And so, I mean, it's hard to compare those two events because GMC is 2 wooded course rounds like that. We know how that affects ratings. But I mean, it's just worth noting, like, he's winning while playing well, not just like kind of scraping by because everybody else played bad.
He did not limp his way into this
win.
No, this is not a cheap win in any way. Yeah, I completely agree.
And it just feels, I mean, Macbeth's now number 2 in the Pro Tour standings. And like even last year, when it felt like he wasn't that relevant, frankly, he was still easily in the top 10 in the Pro Tour standings. Like his baseline level is just so high. I mean, you talk about somebody who's set the bar really high. We were talking about Holland. Paul has done that to the extent that, like, if he's not in the hunt on the final day, it feels like he failed, which, is a very unreasonable burden to place on a golfer. But that's what happens when you're the greatest player ever to do it. And boy, it's exciting right now. And now Macbeth is going into an event where he has won 3 times. I mean, how about Steve Dodge picking him and Paige to win at MVP? He should have doubled down and said they were going to win at GMC.
Little early, Steve.
But like, Macbeth feels like a very credible winner again this week.
Yes.
I mean, I think Gannon's probably still the favorite, but Macbeth is right there. And then we go to USDGC, where obviously Macbeth has had tons of success. I mean, what if Macbeth
ties the
record with 3 or 4, gets another major?
My
like he feels like he's going to be absolutely in the hunt at USDGC this year. I am ready for AB versus Gannon versus Nicholas versus Paul versus Rick versus Calvin. Like, bring it on.
Those first 4 lead card would just be the sickest lead card.
It's very plausible. Those guys have all played great at this tournament.
Yeah, it would be exciting. Oh man, I can't wait. USDGC is going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun.
It really is.
I hope Paul gets one. I would love Gannon to win. I always love Gannon to win. I love watching him just dominate and have that, like, I love watching greatness, right? But there's just nothing like Paul tying the record at USDGC.
Oh my God. I mean, and people just want to see Paul. For so many players, Paul is the guy.
Yes.
He is the guy. He is their number 1 player. And some people may not even admit it, but like, they want to watch him play. They want to see him do well. He's got the Tiger effect in a way that Gannon Buhr does not have.
Yep.
Very fun tournament overall. I mean, Macbeth, Cole Redolin coming out super strong. He's 2 shots back going into the final round. Paul Kranz, Northeast, young up and comer, playing great. And then you got Gannon, who plays kind of bad over at Brewster, and then goes 10 down to kind of like, you're like squinting. You're like, he's 7 shots back, like maybe. And then what does he do? I mean, he comes out and shoots an absolute scorcher, 1088. And credit to Macbeth for not blinking and going bogey free on a day where he didn't totally have it. But just like was really solid and didn't make big mistakes. And that was able to carry him through to a 2-stroke win.
Yeah. I mean, when Gannon rattled off the 8 in a row, you're like, oh.
I was saying in the reacts, Josh, like, Gannon birdies every hole from 8 to 18 except the 16th where he gets a par. I feel like he does this a lot.
Oh, yes.
In the final round, I feel like he gets on these insane hot streaks where he birdies a zillion holes in a row and like manages to apply pressure. I feel like Gannon Buhr has to figure out how to bring that same energy to round 1.
He has to.
It's the thing that's holding him back. It feels like he has these slow starts, and then if you give him enough rounds, eventually he usually wins. I think if we play 4 rounds at Fox, Gannon wins his tournament. But he comes out, plays bad on the wooded course, and it's like he's capable of shooting the hot round of the day at those courses too in round 1, and he's not doing it. And I don't know if it's a mental focus issue or what it is, but I have seen it enough from him that he can pile up these insane birdie streaks in round 4. You got to do that in round 1 if you want to be the true like dominant force that he's capable of being.
He does the Calvin thing where he plays himself out of contention and then comes back and just shoots scorchers of a round. The difference is that Gannon just has a little bit higher of a ceiling, and so it's enough for him to catch him at most, like half the time. But it's interesting that given how good Gannon Buhr is, he doesn't blow more tournaments out of the water. And it's because those round 1s just they come out too flat. They really, and he talked about that at Worlds. He said, at Worlds, that my problem has always been round 1. It's not just a Worlds problem. That's Gannon. Round 1 is Gannon Buhr's kryptonite.
I wonder if there's empirical data here. I'm going to ask Statmando.
Statisticians.
I'm going to ask Statmando what's going on. Because I'm very curious if this is like an actual thing or if it's just, we're just noticing it.
Just our perception. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, he goes 58, 52, 53, 50 for this tournament. And I don't know. Let's see, par 62, par 63. So functionally similar pars, but you can see the difference from round 1 to round 2.
Yeah, 10-18 rated round 1 is just a trash round for him.
Yeah. That's. But to your point, Charlie,
as someone who's never shot 1,000 rated round,
I have 1,000 rated round in my name.
Did you just feel like you were on unbelievable fire?
It started as a 999, and I was checking it daily to watch for the official score to see if it got posted, and it did get adjusted up to 1,000. So, yes, I was on cloud 9, and I wear that as a badge of honor.
Love
because it. I probably will never do it again. But the reason why Gannon wins 4 and 5 round tournaments is because it gives him the time to overcome round 1s.
Yeah.
3 round tournaments just don't have enough time. That's how it feels.
I believe that 10-18 from Gannon is his worst round by rating since the 2024 Champions Cup.
He's in second place by 2 strokes.
That's crazy.
That's guy, crazy. Man.
Yeah, he's something special.
He really is.
Shout out to Cole Redallen, who I think just loves playing in Vermont, huh? But also he's kind of feeling like he's back a little bit. Like he's another guy who's like a little dealing with some health issues. His hip was really bothering him, and you can really see it in the results from the beginning of the season. But then, he's really picked it up back-to-back now podium finishes at Idlewild and GMC.
Cole Redallen is a Pound-sponsored athlete as well.
That is true. You can pick up his bag at pounddiscgolf.com.
It's a sick bag, too. I love Cole Redallen's colorways. They look so good.
he's a Portland guy. He's obviously got to be a Pound guy.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
It must be so. What else from this weekend? Oh, I know what I want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
The players who qualified to MVP.
Yes. I knew there was something else.
Via their finish at GMC and not their standings.
Right.
So remember, 8 MPO, 4 FPO advance through to play at MVP. And then there will be a 4 and 2 who advance through without finishing at the points cutoff to get through into the Tour Championship. So we're going to talk about the cutoffs as well right now. But the players who get through, MPO, Connor O'Reilly, finished in 31st, Andrew Fish, Jeremy Colling, Zach Arlinghouse, Carter Aarons, Ryan Mon, Henrik Hagman, Garrett Gerthy, and Bo McLaughlin. And over in FPO, Cynthia Klesberga, Hannah Manis, Erica Stinchcomb, and Chandler Ray. So those are the, technically there are 13 because there was a tie for 62nd for Gerthy and McLaughlin in MPO. And they get to go through and play at MVP, and they got a chance to double down and make it all the way to the Tour Championship. Do you like any of those players in particular to make the Tour Championship?
Big Germ.
That is the one that feels like it jumps off the page, right?
Yeah, big Germ. But like Carter Aarons has had some good tournaments before. I mean, he could do it. Yeah, the Big Germ's really the name that stands out. Connor O'Reilly's won a tournament, so maybe I'm not giving enough respect to him. But it's he finished what, 31st. 31st is just not going to do it. By virtue of math, it can't.
Probably not, because remember, these guys are now competing with all the players who are just outside the cutoff too.
Right.
Guys like Austin Turner, who's 30th and is 7 points behind Jake Mon to get a points spot in the Tour Championship. Joey Buckets, Matty O. I mean, Matty O has got to do it, right? Like, this is a tournament where he's got to do it. He's won here before.
Yes.
He's going to be one of the highest rated players that's not already in that top 28 cutoff.
We should talk about this in the context of MVP.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh, okay, sure.
Because we have an MVP preview next.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
we'll save it. We'll dig into it more when we talk MVP
little
in our segment a little bit later. Yes, that is very fair.
Yeah.
We'll break down all of the players and kind of who's got a chance to play their way in. I mean, the interesting thing is that for a lot of players who are around that cutoff, if they play well enough to be in the conversation to get through with points, they've probably played well enough to get in, period. Because they will get in either by points or they will be one of the top X finishers that hasn't already qualified. Now, you never know, I guess, but it just feels like those things go hand in hand. So it's going to make those bubble spots pretty interesting.
The only case where that wouldn't be true is if our top 28 in the standings all show up and play pretty well at MVP, where like you finish 30th, which is very clearly not enough for points purposes, but it is enough for you to qualify, right? But by virtue of just math, you have to finish inside the top 32 at MVP.
Right.
Have to. Like, that's mathematically you have to. So,
I mean,
no. You have to.
I guess
because
that's
right. Because the worst case,
yeah, you're right,
is the top 28 all play in the top 28, and then there are 4 spots left. Otherwise, you're finishing, like, people are finishing better. It is top 32. There's nowhere if you don't finish in the top 32.
Josh is in law school, and his brain is sharp.
That's right.
And I am sitting here in my house. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Paige Pierce joins us on the Upshot. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. Before you think the Octo's getting all the love here in 2025, Rufus fans, do not fear. They've got some brand new colorways available now and shipping immediately. They got the Peacock and Navy out last week, along with the Blackout. Those are both, that's the all black, shipping right now. And you can also pre-order for the Sage and Coffee and Navy and Steel colorways. Those should be shipping sometime in November. So head over to pounddiscgolf.com, check out the Rufus. It's their slightly smaller version. It's the perfect size for me. And they also now have a Rufus Caddy out. So if you want to add a little structure to the bottom of your bag to make it easier to get discs in and out when you're using a cart or it's on a caddy's back, you can get that, put it in the base of the bag, and it adds a little bit of extra support and structure to the bag. So pounddiscgolf.com, get yourself a Rufus or an Octo today. Joining us now on the Upshot is Paige Pierce, who, with her win at the Green Mountain Championship, has extended an unbelievable streak going all the way back to 2011 of winning an Elite Series or a major. Paige, congratulations, first of all, and it's great to have you back on the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's always good to come off a win and then to also be at my favorite course, Maple Hill. It's like just a good week.
Well, we know you got out there this morning for a practice round. How's the course looking? How's everything looking out there in Massachusetts?
It looks good. I think it's a really cool event this year, specifically with the course, because they've made a lot of changes. Some shortening, some lengthening, some tighter OB. And even though it's only one course, it's going to play like two courses because there's a lot of A, B pins. So like the first 2 days we'll play A pins and then B pins. So it's going to set up really well. And it's just like you have to learn the course a little bit more, even if you've been here for a decade. There's just tighter OB and it's gonna play really, really fun.
This might sound like a silly question because I think it's a lot of people's favorite course, but I would love to know why MVP or Maple Hill in particular is your favorite course.
I just like the variety. I think, there's uphill, there's downhill, there's long bombers, there's tight wooded holes, there's water hazards, there's potential rollaways. There's holes with grass where you could do skip shots or rollers, but there's also ones with roots and rocks everywhere that you have to air it. So you can't get comfortable. It keeps you on your toes. Like you can't just get in a rhythm and keep throwing the same disc. You have to like challenge every part of your game. And I also just like the energy out here. I feel like we have a similar type like at Swenson Park or for the OTB Open or Champions Cup with the energy. And Portland, I feel like has really good energy, but Maple Hill is just something, there's something in the air where people are just excited and everyone's just on site always. I think that's a big reason that a lot of my favorite events that's a big like common denominator in what makes my favorite events. And it's just that everybody's like close together. And here at Maple Hill, it's not just like, oh, everybody's in this little town or everybody's staying on the same street. It's like everybody's at the course. And so, it just makes it really, really special.
Well, let's go back to last week and, a run to another title in your illustrious career. What do you think was the difference maker this weekend for you in terms of being able to get back on top at a 4-round event against a super strong end of the season field?
Yeah, I know Missy had a really hot first round, but like the first round sticks out to me just because lately the first round has been my crux. I've just been putting myself out of it. And yes, Missy did whoop me round one, but I didn't shoot bad. I just didn't shoot great. So I don't know how many I was back, but with 3 rounds still to go and not feeling like panic and feeling like pretty good about my gap hitting, I felt like I was confident going into rounds 2, 3, and 4. Especially I knew if I could get through round 2 again at Brewster, pretty clean or maybe a little under par even. I knew I was going to play Fox Run well. And so, I moved up every day. Oh, I remember. I was like in 14th, I think. And then I jumped up to 8th, like top of chase or top of 3rd card. And then I was top of 2nd card and then on the lead card. So, yeah, I just kept moving up and kept staying calm. And really, I've just been trusting my jump putt more. That's been like, since my injury, like the hardest thing to trust. It like jumping full force and landing, and like especially on like uneven ground or rocks or roots. Like I'm okay physically, and I know that, or I don't know that. I guess like my head knows that, but my body doesn't, and it doesn't like it hasn't been allowing me to like fully confidently explode. And I just been trusting that more and more over the last few weeks and months. The more reps I get in, the more I trust myself. And I found myself not even like checking the ground in front of me of like, where am I going to land? Oh no. And I'm thinking too far ahead about where my foot's going to land. And I was able to just like focus on the chains instead of like the ground underneath me. And so I think especially the final round, what like got me so close was my jump putting.
On that final round, you walk up to hole 18 and you throw your drive that has the crazy skip off of the bridge to put you in just the prime location. You then go down the hill, kind of take a moment afterwards. What was going through your head at that moment?
Well, I knew that I had a chance to push a playoff. I had the farthest drive up there, so I knew I was going to get to see what they did. But either way, I was thinking, okay, we're playing this for birdie. They're not going to bogey it, or at least both of them aren't going to bogey it. So I need this birdie to force a playoff. And I was so like shaky, like my knees felt weak, and I felt like butterflies and like sweaty palms and everything, like all of it was hitting. And I was just telling myself like, I know I've been putting good, but I would prefer to not have to putt. So just like take your time, get it as close as you can. Like we don't really want to have to putt. Um, so yeah, I did eventually then still leave myself with a little bit of a tester. I think it was like maybe 22 feet or something like that. 24 feet maybe. And so, yeah, it was just, yeah, it was nerve wracking for sure.
I picked up on this. I wonder whether you did. Is it at all notable to you that you had your final tee shot in regulation off of the 18th skip off of a bridge onto the fairway?
Yeah, people. So actually, at the time, I didn't know that. I found out like an hour or two after after the end of the like playoff even. Um, so that was interesting to hear. And then like I was like, okay, is that exaggerated? Like what was it? So I got to watch it back, and holy cow, like yeah. So it is kind of like just full circle, I think, and I think that everything happens for a reason, and that's got to be the universe paying me back for a huge part of my career that I missed out on. And yeah, I think yeah, it's funny, you can read into things or choose to think it's a coincidence, but I think everything happens as it should, and it put me in a position to not, it didn't win me the tournament, but it gave me the chance to prove, okay, it got me into the playoff, and then I still had to prove it from there. So yeah, I'm happy it wasn't like a stroke of luck to be my very final shot or something like that. But also, if luck's what it takes, then I'm happy, because it was very unlucky for me to break my ankle on a bridge as well. So
yes, indeed.
Probably don't quite feel even yet, though. One skip, it's gonna need to be a couple more skips before the debt's fully paid.
Yeah.
When right after the win, I thought you had some interesting words in the interview on DGN. Briefly paraphrasing, you said this was for FPO. Look at this three-way playoff. I'm just curious, like what motivated those comments? Were you having some conversations beforehand or earlier in the weekend about the state of FPO or something like that? Or yeah, I'm just like, what did you mean by that?
I think just in general, like we don't get treated as equals in many ways. I think for the most part, I think about the media and the way that they talk about our shots, and feeling the camera get so close to Evelina when she's missing putts, and having highlight reels of Holland's tree hits. It's just it's really disrespectful, and they don't do that to the men. And I think it's bullshit. And I'm sorry to cuss, but that's how strongly I feel about it. It's not cool, and they should be highlighting our good things. And Missy and I have been talking for a while about wanting to go into a long playoff, mostly me. She said, I just want to beat you straight up. But I'm like, let's do like a epic playoff, like how Ricky and Paul did at Blue Lake, and how Eagle and Paul did at European Open, and Simon and Robert Burridge, and there's so many epic male playoffs. And it was really cool that it ended in a 3-way playoff where, to my knowledge, they didn't even know what they were going to do as far as teeing order and how to figure that out. It felt like, what has this been done? Like, this is epic. Like, and I could feel the tension in the air, and I was very aware that the people at home watching on the TVs were probably also feeling those same things. And just that, I think there's so much talent, and I hate to watch DGN and see highlight reels of bad putts and bad tree kicks, and just focus. Wanting to bring attention of, look how good things are. Like, let's not focus on all those bad things. Let's focus on what we're accomplishing. So that was kind of my sentiment. But no, I hadn't been having conversations. It's just been for a long time. When I broke my ankle and all I could do was watch coverage, just sick of watching FPO and then watching MPO. They don't do that in MPO. And yeah, I just not down with that.
What has been your perception of, and I'd love to get even just your reaction to, in this broader conversation, Kristen's announcement of taking the rest of the season and next year off, and then your perception of the way that the disc golf world has kind of treated that stepping away from.
Well, the way the disc golf world's treated it, I think, is just sad. It's like, I mean, we're all gonna miss watching Kristen throw. She's such a solid player, and she's raised the bar, and you get used to it, and you get accustomed to just watching this player. You probably have her discs, you have her shirts, and you cheer her on, and now you think it's going to be forever, and then now you don't get that. So it's just like sad. And then it's just like human nature to be curious of like, why, what's going on? Is she okay? What's this, that? And it's just like, it's none of our business. Like, we take it for granted that we got to watch her for so long. And it's just sad, and yeah, it's surprising to me for sure. I thought, reading the first half of the post, I'm like, okay, yeah, that rest of the season, she's already home. Like, she probably just wants to stay home with her family and stuff. But the part about 2026, that was definitely surprising to me. The first part wasn't surprising, but the second part of all of 2026, that was definitely surprising to me, at least in September, right? So yeah, at least in September, hearing that already. Maybe if we heard that in December or January, it'd be like, okay, she whatever, but I'm not in her head or her heart. So who am I to say, and who are anybody else online to say what's best for her besides herself? So I know if I had a daughter, I'm going to guess that that's a big part of the decision. If I had a daughter at home, countries away, I probably wouldn't have been on the road in the first place. So I'm glad I got to throw alongside her. I'm glad everybody got to watch her for as long as we did. And who knows, maybe when her daughter's graduated, or I don't know, who knows what the future holds, but I hope to play alongside her again. I'm crossing my fingers and throwing out all the manifesting of that she's going to at least play the European or the Estonian major next year. and just like at least just pop out at that one, home major. I feel like that would be a cool story, and we can try to bring it into fruition maybe.
I'm with you. I like the idea. I flash back sometimes and I think about when you were working with the film crew on the documentary at Utah Worlds and that season and trying to win, one more Worlds and that one more major. And, you're still chasing that. Is that still something that is motivating you in 2025? Or have things changed in your life and sort of your relationship to disc golf that maybe that's not quite the thing that it was back in 2021?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I'm definitely still chasing it. It's every year it gets a little bit more heart-wrenching, yeah, especially when you think about like how long it's been since I won a world title. I know I was so close in 2021, but still that's what, 4 years ago now, 5 years ago. So yeah, it's I think for my own sanity, just trying not to fixate on it too much. But yeah, definitely still the biggest goal of mine that I have. But just trying not to put as much pressure on it so that if it doesn't happen, I don't fall as far down, But yeah, definitely.
Let me follow up quickly on that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just like where do you feel like your game is right now? I mean, I thought it was interesting that you mentioned not fully trusting your leg still in some ways on the jump putting, and maybe you're turning the corner on that. But like, do you feel like you can get back to the highs of your late 2010s, whatever you feel like is your best moment? It was a long stretch of dominance. Are you feeling like you're getting close to that again?
Yeah, I mean, disc golf's crazy because like you'll be like, oh, my hyzer flip's not looking good right now, and then you just like you're just dialing that in practice, and you're like hyzer flips only, hyzer flips, and you're like, oh, okay, nice, I got it back. And then it's like, okay, now my 25 footers aren't doing good, and then you're like, okay, I just gotta putt, and you get that dialed in, and then it's like, okay, my annies aren't looking good. And so it's like you have to, constantly be working on all parts of your game, not just the part that you're struggling on. And so yeah, just trying to be like more well-rounded in my practice, I think, and not just like fixating on one thing. But yeah, I think a big part of it, I mean, you see the stats like of Own winning worlds and her putting. Like putting is a huge part of it, and putting is absolutely what got me this win last week. So although I'm like working on other things and just like fine tuning them and keeping them fresh and crisp, it's like you just really, really, really have to be making those putts and not like having any fear on the greens. And if you do have that fear, lay up, but for the most part, just like erase that fear, because those are the moments that are gonna get you in contention and be the difference maker. And what was the question? What do I? Oh, how am I going to get back to that dominance like that or something?
Or more just like, where do you feel like your game is?
Okay.
And like, do you feel like you're coming back towards having your game feel like it did when you were at your highs of your career?
I think a lot of it is confidence. And like coming off a win, it definitely helps for sure. Feeling all the good things that went right and like leaning on those. But I think there's this like fine balance of like even though I won, there are things that went wrong, right? And so there's this like balance of like analyzing that and figuring out what went wrong. And then do we avoid those things and only lean on our strengths, or do we try to fix those in tournament and just say, so actually one of my best moments I thought personally of my last tournament was hole 14 final round. My weakness going into GMC has been like mid-range shots. all of my my release point on my mids has just been very like all over the place, kind of been spraying mid ranges. So I really didn't throw very many mid ranges. I threw my Fierce a lot, and I threw Passion and Vulture a lot, and then on open holes drivers, of course. But I really strayed away from mid ranges. And hole 14, round 3, I shanked it, and I stayed safe by an inch, and thank God. But then round 4, we're coming down the stretch now, and I'm a few back, and I need this birdie, and I had the box, and I'm like talking to my caddy. I'm like, what else can I throw here? Should I throw Raptor Spike Geyser? Should I just throw my Fierce and try to make a 40-footer? Should I, and I'm thinking of all these things, and I just like, in that moment specifically, it's like, what do you do? Do you lean on a strength that you have been doing, or do you know, okay, my mid-range is the shot, I just gotta like execute it? And I did, and I grabbed my Buzz SS, and I got it inside the circle, and I got that birdie, and it was just such a like a mental high for me of like, you knew that you've been struggling with that, and you went with it, and you did it, and like, you can do this. And I think that that's like a big thing, is like, okay, like even just now at Maple, I'm hole 7, I'm not hitting the gap. Hole 15, I'm not hitting the gap. And it's like, come tournament time, do I change my disc and just play for par? Or do I just say, I know that's the disc, and even though I didn't hit the gap, like, I know that I can. So I think that's the big part of like what I've been struggling with, and what it's going to take for me to just like run on a stretch of wins. But like, physically, like my game feels pretty good. Like my putting feels good. My driving feels good. Yeah. So it's just, if it's not one thing, it's another. So you just got to kind of like have that mental fortitude of like pushing past it, or deciding when's the time to buckle down and throw the shot, or just play for par. But sorry, one last thing. But late, like I would say the last year, all of my mess ups have been that ladder of like, oh, we'll just play for par. It's okay. We'll just play for par. Not feeling good. I'll just get my putter out. And then I play for par, and then I mess up that shot, and I'm trying to be conservative. And I'm thinking about the commentators saying like, oh, she shouldn't be going for this. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a smart golfer. I'm going to play smart, and trying to do the smart shot and then messing up the smart shot. Well, now you were playing for par and you messed up. So now
you're getting bogey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that has been what's caused me to get so many bogeys lately. And I just didn't really do that at Green Mountain. So when I did mess up, at least I was still playing for par, and par was still in play as opposed to bogey. So
looking forward, I don't think I've heard anybody say otherwise, but I don't know if we've had the opportunity to ask you. After MVP, we obviously have Winthrop, which throw pink is not technically a major for FPO. Do you think the FPO should add that as their 5th major?
I mean, 5 majors would be awesome. I think especially with how this year, how the schedule was, like all 4 of them were pretty close together in timing. So it would be cool to have one at the end of the year and just like have that chance, because our last one, was Worlds. So it seems natural to have one after Worlds, but as far as it being throw pink and just because the men are there, I mean, I do like the course. I do think it's historic, but I mean, it would be cool. The more the merrier for me, I think. But I think then that's weird that the men don't have 5. So maybe that's why we don't have it like that.
Some subscribers in our Discord have some questions for you. I'll ask one from Rob. He says, if you could make one change to the tour for next season, especially in regards to how it supports the FPO division, what would it be?
I mean, it's not really doable, but I would say getting a secondary media crew um, so that the women could be, and most tour stops being 2 courses, and having the men on course A, the women on course B, and then switching. Then we're at different courses and we're not flowing into each other's rounds. We're not having to get up at 7:30 to play rounds. And the media crews still can cover both of us because they, if it's still one crew, they don't get a lunch break then, right? Or they can't be in 2 places at once. So I understand why we're in the morning, but I would say it's the number one topic of discussion between FPO, like in the warm-up field in the morning, is like everybody's still waking up, their body and they're wiping crusties out. We, not they. We are wiping crusties out. We're yawning. Haven't got our morning poop out. Like, we are not warmed up. We are not warmed up. And when the guys are playing at 3 p.m., they've had a whole day. Their whole body's warmed up. We are not getting our best golf out at 9:30 in the morning. It's just reality. Like, if I played at noon every day, I would be so much better of a golfer. I'm just like, even if you wake up at 6:30, like, it's dark. You're not practicing at 6:30, And so, like, you see, I'll finish my round at, like, say noon, and the guys tee at 3:30 and they're already there warming up. It's just not physically possible for us. So I think to get the best golf, us teeing later, and I think the only way that's possible is being on 2 different courses. So I guess that's what I would say.
Another subscriber question. They ask, how long do you want to keep competing at the pro level? Do you want to be like Owen, still in the mix in your mid 40s? Or do you have other career interests or goals that you want to pursue, like commentary, or in the disc golf world is specifically the examples that he picks?
Yeah, I think I'll always be, until my body doesn't let me, at this state where my head is, but who knows what's going to happen 3 years from now if I have different desires or whatever. But as of right now, yes, I feel like I'm going to be a Own for sure. Until my body doesn't let me. It's like at least playing the majors and the big pro tours that I find fun. I really don't like competing in the Midwest. And it's nothing about those courses. I actually love, like, Des Moines, and I love those courses. It's nothing against the courses. It's just like in the heat of the summer, in the middle of, I'm such a water baby, and there's nowhere to swim there, and there's nowhere to cool off, and I don't have AC. It's just like, and I don't like being inside. So it's like, okay, play disc golf and suffer through it. And then, like, I guess I'll sit inside and be bored. So I probably will more and more skip the Midwest events if they keep staying in the summer. But I think I'm 34. I feel like at 44, I'll still be touring. It's just like maybe skipping those tournaments, like playing the OTB Opens and the Portland Opens and the Preserves, and the ones that I find fun, I'll be at always.
What did you think of Owen winning Worlds this year?
It's incredible. There's so much talk, especially in the media and stuff, about all these young up and comers and blah 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 blah. Not in a bad way, blah blah blah. But it's true. But for Owen to win at what is she, 42? I want to say 40, 42, somewhere in there. That's just so cool. It's so cool. And it goes to show you, like, yes, there is a lot of kids, literal kids, coming up and giving us a run for our money. But there's, like, age is nothing but a number, like, if you're hitting your putts, you have a chance. If you're staying in bounds, you have a chance. Like, she said, like, I am not distance. I am not accuracy. I just make putts. And it's just like, so, like, it's true. It's true. Like, anybody can do it. You just got to believe in yourself. You got to hit the putts. You got to, when you get yourself close, make it and convert. And yeah, I think it goes to show, like, all these people, I hear so many people that come up to me and they say, I just got into the sport a few years ago and I wish I started when I was your age and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, that's the testament right there, is like, you didn't have to start young. You don't have to. Like, look at Own. And I think it's just inspiring to so many different people. And I think it got a lot more people practice putting, as like at D-Glow, I would be at the course till dark, and there was, obviously Own practice putting, but not just Own. There was 20 people on the putting green till dusk. And so I think it inspired a lot of people at home, but also a lot of players, just like MPO as well, which is really cool. Hearing MPO talking about like, damn, did you see Own's putting stats? Like blah 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 blah. And so I think it inspired a lot of people, both her peers and her fans.
Own is 44 as well.
44. She's a killer.
Yeah.
She's a killer.
That's crazy, right?
You are gifted $1,000 to bet on who will be the FPO World Champion of 2035, and you can't pick yourself.
2035.
Who do you pick?
That is
It's legal for you to bet
and
in this hypothetical scenario, which it's not
10 years in
but.
the future. Yeah.
Well, where is that Worlds? I need to know the courses.
Ooh. Do it. It's going to be, it was,
well, 2035.
let's call it Europe again. Should we say Europe again?
There we go.
Okay.
We'll say it's
Let's just
Europe.
pretend we're playing to this year's courses 10 years later.
Damn, that's a good question, you guys. Oh, that's a good question, because it's also about.
Or is it someone we've never heard of? Is it like
you can take
that is an
back.
optional answer?
Interesting. 2035. I'm gonna say, can I do like 3 people?
Sure.
All right.
Splitting it up.
All right. Henna Bloomerus. I think Henna's got a Worlds in her, especially in Europe, especially, 10 more years, Henna for sure. Who else? Oh, Addison Woodard. Wow, that girl, I think she's 17, 16. I just played with her for the first time this summer, and holy cow, her swing, both backhand and forehand, remind me so much of Haley King. And she says, this is her out of her mouth, she says that putting's her weakness right now. But give her 10 years on a putting green, like, holy cow, and 10 years of experience. I mean, her talent is just absolutely incredible. I just like watch the disc come out of her hand, and I'm just like, whoa.
Addison Woodward throws the disc.
Addison Woodard, sure. Wow. And then me. Oh, you said you can't say yourself. Okay.
Can't say yourself.
Holland. I don't think Holland's going anywhere anytime soon. Holland's also only 29, so that'll put her 39. And yeah, I don't see her going anywhere. So yeah, we'll call it Holland.
Okay.
Love it. What would you say about like how disc golf is going right now? Like big picture.
Give me something more than that. What do you mean?
Sure.
What are you talking about?
I guess it's been, I mean, you have such a long range perspective. And you've watched the sport grow incrementally and then very suddenly post COVID. And now we're kind of in this little bit of a flat to down trend. So I'm just curious, for how you feel like the industry is set up right now. The Pro Tour's had a lot of changes over the last 5 to 6 years. Pro disc golf feels like it's healthier than certainly 10 years ago. So I guess I'm just curious for like how you feel like things are going in the broad spectrum of what you've seen over the course of your career.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, it's like, okay, in 10, 15 years, what do you think is good growth, right? So I see so many different things that I hadn't seen when I started playing. First of all, media crews, live coverage, all the UDisc, I mean, it's like we have all these apps, we have tech discs, we have like, there's throwing nets, there's so many different tools. There's podcasts, you guys are killing it. And there's, I mean, companies too. I think, back then it was like Innova, Discraft, not even Prodigy yet, not even MVP, really, not anything like that. So not only companies in disc golf, but now companies outside of disc golf, like this at this tournament in particular. Barbasol sponsoring it. Siggi, Siggi, the yogurt brand, is sponsoring it. LL Bean and Columbia and like all these companies that like you don't think really have anything to do with disc golf are sponsoring disc golf. So in some capacity, I mean, then you got Kristen working with Porsche and Air Baltic and Nike. So it's like on certain levels it's players, on certain levels it's tournaments. And but either way, there's like all these new companies coming in, and I think that's a huge growth, not just in like helping with the purses, but also just like giving more recognition to like how professional the sport is. And a big thing too, I see people like realizing how big the sport is with the Brixton cards. You know, people like maybe they have a few discs and they come up to me at like a fly mart or like a meet and greet at a course. They're like, whoa, there's cards. Like they have like, you know, the little bag with like 4 discs in it. And they're like, wait, there's cards. And it's like, even them, they know the sport, they're playing weekly, but them realizing, wow, there's live coverage and there's sports cards. And, yes, there's just, I mean, infinite ways that things have gotten better. Live scoring, you know, all of it. It's crazy. So, we always want more and more and more and bigger and better, but I think it's grown so big and seemingly like not that long of a time frame.
Yeah, that's well said. How are you feeling heading into MVP, coming off the win? Obviously played well here in the past. You think you can go back to back?
I think I can. Yeah, I just gotta believe that, and on every hole believe that, and know like every shot that happens is leading up to it. So not taking any shots or putts for granted, and just really focusing. I think in the final round specifically, I really did a good job like focusing and like tuning into, like tuning out, I will say, like all the other things and people and noises and that. And I think I did a really good job at that. So I'm going to hold on to that moving into this event. And I don't want to say take my time, but I just like tuning in, and like everyone's like, lock in. That's like the new, like, let's go. It's like lock in. So yeah, locking in and tuning out all the other stuff. So I think that's going to be the key for me, and just staying calm. And 4-round events, I really like 4-round events. Even if you shoot a bad first round, like you're in it, you have a full tournament ahead of you. And so just staying calm. And I think I weirdly like bad weather. I don't think it's not like, oh, I play well in bad weather, but I do just think like it's one more thing that you have to mentally overcome. And if I just know I'm not going to shoot as good as I want to shoot, I might slip a few times. I might have some discs slip out of my hands. I might have some mistakes, but not just lowering my expectations, and like having that mental strength of like, okay, the weather is in control. I don't have full control of this. I'm not going to shoot what I thought I was going to shoot. And I like to say like it weeds out the weak, you know, bad weather weeds out the weak. And like, I kind of welcome it, just because like you kind of have to, otherwise you let it get in your head and affect you too much. And, I think it's all you can do is be prepared for, you know, have enough towels, slow down your footwork, and lower your expectations. And so I'm excited to be in one of my favorite places. I think I do have like home course advantage, even though it's not my home course. I feel the energy going towards me, and you can hear it. And, you know, just leaning on that. And, yeah, I think I can do it. I just got to
Awesome.
believe that 2.5 rounds in, you know, or 3.5 rounds in, if I'm still down by 5, like, you can do it. You just did it. So,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're wise to be prepared for the weather. I mean, it's going to be beautiful for the weekend, but tomorrow for round 1. There is an inch of rain in the forecast. Well, I mean, that's a lot of rain.
Crazy.
So it could be pretty wet out there tomorrow.
Like I said,
all
I'm
right,
a water
well,
baby.
thank you so much,
so
Paige.
We're gonna welcome it.
Appreciate you as always. It's always great to catch up. Good luck this weekend, and see you down in Rock Hill.
Sounds good. Same here. And thanks for having me. Seriously, y'all are my favorite podcast. So anytime.
Thank you, Paige.
Appreciate your questions. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right. We will let you go. Paige Pierce with us here on the Upshot. We'll be right back to get you ready for the MVP Open. Welcome back to the Upshot. Thanks again to Paige Pierce for coming on. We are recording this segment before we talk with Paige, so we can't really respond to what she just said, but I know for a fact that it was very interesting because Paige is always very interesting.
Nice take, Charlie.
Thank you. Before we dig into MVP, I do want to quickly take a look at the purse watch and picks from last week. Very, very fast. 75,770 MPO payout. That's a lot. 48,190 for FPO for a total purse of 123,960. That comes in 2% over last year. 15K to the MPO winner. That is the highest, only behind Worlds and Champions Cup this season. So easily the biggest payout of any Pro Tour event.
It was tied with Fledgestone.
Wait, is that not on my list? Oh, you're right. My apologies, Ledgestone. I should have known better. Don't worry.
I won't let you get away with that.
My eyes are blind. Law school Josh coming through again.
That's right.
$911 per person. Huge number. That's only behind U.S. women's.
That's a killer number.
Very, 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 very strong. So lots of added cash.
Yes.
And in theory, MVP is going to be even better, although last year GMC was about $1,000 more than MVP. So we'll see.
To September's credit, or September, to MVP's credit, they also have less players, so it's more.
Great point.
Cash.
Great point.
Yeah. So
we will judge on the money per person.
Correct. It is more impressive for MVP, in my opinion.
So that's your purse watch. So a marginal bump in the payouts there, and picks. Josh and I basically broke even on picks this week. Remember, you can always go to discgolf.ultiworld.com/upshot-picks. Breaking even with Josh is just fine for me.
That's not
Josh picked up 10 points. The big was having Haley King. Really nice pick. And as soon as you picked Haley, I was like, oh God, I want to pick Haley because she's 5X. And I didn't make the change. So I got burned there. I got 6 points. Holland, Missy, and Silva. Josh had Silva, Owen, and Haley. I won an MPO though, and I had Gannon, Ricky, who got a 0, but I had Macbeth. That was big. So I got 7.5 for Macbeth. Josh had Gannon, Isaac Robinson, and Calvin Heimberg. Honestly, a pretty good week of picks, picking up points on all of those players. But
yeah,
unfortunately, you got to do better than
tied.
Mediocre. That's right. So it's time now to get you ready for the MVP Open. 4 rounds at Maple Hill, number 1 ranked course in the United States, number 4 in the world this year per UDisc, and many pros' favorite course. I mean, it's got a little of everything. It's got some. I love how much water is involved in this course, and like they're able to do that in a really nice way with some cool water carries and the 8 holes and the whole crazy raucous atmosphere. I mean, they've really built a culture around this tournament. And Josh, I think the number one thing I'm excited for, we're seeing more and more A and B pins. Steve talked to us about how they stretched out the Peninsula Green on hole 1.
Yep.
And just generally like starting to make this course feel fresh, even as we play it for 4 rounds.
Steve is going to be the first tournament director to have more than or close to 18 holes of A and B pins.
It does feel that way.
Confident in that. I mean, he is. It really feels like a lot of other tournament directors embrace it very. They don't embrace it. They we'll stick a couple in, and it feels almost like a token, right? Like it's not like a meaningful effort. Like Steve feels like he has begun to embrace the AB pin position philosophy, and I really appreciate that about Steve.
So Josh, let's talk a little bit about what we've seen in this tournament in the recent past. Last year, kind of unforgettable moments down the stretch in both divisions. Missy Gannon with the forehand into the 18th in order to beat Kristen, who put her forehand approach out of bounds. And that not only won the tournament for Missy, it won her the points title and ultimately the player of the year over Kristen, all from that one tournament. And we had plenty of discussion about that. Yes. Talk about like probably the biggest forehand shot of Missy Gannon's career. And then James Proctor going OB going into 18, needing to make the putt from the drop zone in order to avoid going to a playoff, and he buries it. Putt of the year, like pretty incredible moments on what is a very cool 18th.
It is like a cool 18th. Great finish, and that's been the case generally recently. I think of Simon winning when Corey Ellis pushes his shot long from chase card, and you have it's Matty O winning. And then you have 2 years ago Haley King winning as well. There have been some really exciting winners with this tournament, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun to watch.
I mean, how many like unique winners have we had here for a while? I mean, I think we haven't had a repeat winner since Paul and Paige both won it in 2019 and then also won it in 2020. Since then, no repeats, and not even a repeat champion in that span.
Wow.
So Macbeth, Hammes, Lizotte, Oram, Proctor since 2020, Pierce, Katrina Allen, Ryan, King, Gannon in FPO. So will that streak continue? Let me ask you that. Will we get two new winners that have not won in the last 5 years?
I mean,
you got Gannon Burr.
I like Gannon Burr. I like Gannon Burr on MPO. FPO, FPO feels like it needs to be silver owned, but
are they arguably the favorites or Holland? Like, there's a bunch of players that could win.
Yeah. It's. I think it's really. I would say it's probably 50. I mean, it really feels like a true coin flip, which maybe is a boring answer. I'm going to say yes. I think we're going to have two unique new winners. I'll take the yes.
All right. I like it. The shorter layouts, will be used for rounds 1 and 2. The longer layouts with the alternating holes, there's 4 FPO holes with alternate pins, and there's 3 MPO holes with alternate pins. They'll play the longer positions for the weekend.
Glad that's not in the rain.
You're glad that the longer layouts are not in the rain. Yeah. As mentioned in the Paige interview, going to be very rainy tomorrow. So an inch of rain in the forecast, which is a lot. So, hopefully it's not as bad as it sounds. Maybe it'll just be a kind of a constant light drizzle as opposed to like torrential downpour. But yeah, it's just one day of rain, and then it's going to be beautiful. Highs in the mid 70s the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, I hope so. I do enjoy watching a round or two of golf in the rain, though. Maybe that's a little.
I think round 1 rain, I'm cool with that.
I don't want like final round slog day.
No, I don't.
But a round 1 or 2 is like the challenge you got to survive.
Yeah,
I'm all about that.
You've always liked the rain days.
I have. I mean, people are gonna groan, but like I think it was 2017 Day Law round 2. I mean, rain unlike I've ever seen at a disc golf tournament. I go back and watch that Joe Mez video occasionally.
So I mean, otherwise you kind of know what to expect. I mean, there's always some changes at MVP. They're always tweaking something. They added the little triple Mando last year at hole 1. They're going to tighten things up here and there. And so expect a few alterations. Steve Dodge mentioned a bunch of those on the interview last week. And, ultimately, you got to be able to do a little bit of everything to succeed out here. And I think that's why this course is interesting and fun. And, I think that's another reason there's been a lot of different winners, because
For sure.
the skills required are so varied. It's not it doesn't favor one style in particular.
And I gotta give a shout out here real quick and some credit to Steve Dodge. You said, oh yeah, they added the triple Mando. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is fairly new. Like,
yeah, literally last year.
I think that the changes that Steve Dodge makes are oftentimes so well like flushed out and tested that after only 1 year, you feel like it's always been there because it's better for it. And that's not always true. We see courses make changes and you go, ooh, wow, I didn't like that change, right? That is not I'm not a fan of that one. And then they revert it back. But I feel like when Steve makes changes, generally speaking, like I remember them as being pretty good. And kind of forget that some of these changes have been so recent. It just feels like it's always been there. And you're totally right. It's not.
Yeah. I'm now not remembering which pro it was, but there was an Instagram post from an MPO player yesterday, maybe. There's a hole where there's now a 7 or maybe 8 foot wide gap 100 feet off the tee.
Maybe my statement's gonna be reversed after this weekend.
That's gonna get some people. But you know what? I actually like stuff like that. Like I like
challenge off the tee or the further down the fairway.
Like let's make these players show us that they can throw a tight gap and not just one that's right off the tee 25 feet.
Yeah.
And you don't have to make it a Mando. You just like if players miss, then they miss. And like, yes, that's really hard, but asking players to throw a very accurate straight shot, I think is a cool challenge in disc golf. I mean, I know I hate walking up to a hole like that because I'm not good enough to be able to hit those kinds of gaps, but these guys are.
They are. And it frames it so well that it's great for like viewers as well.
Oh, it's beautiful when they hit it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. It's a great point.
Yeah. Could it be too hard? I guess we'll see. If no one makes the gap, then we know.
Then we'll make the change.
All right, Josh, let's make our picks.
Okay.
I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Okay.
I'm going full hot hand.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay. What does that mean? It means I'm taking Gannon Burr, Paul Macbeth, Cole Redolin, Missy Gannon, Owen Scoggins, Paige Pierce.
This week's podium.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Full hot hands.
The podiums.
I think these players are in form. The style required is comparable to what we just had.
Yep.
These are also players who have played well here historically. So it's not like I'm going out on a crazy limb. So yeah. I don't know if you want to call it chalk. I don't know if it's quite chalk.
Sure.
But I'm going hot hand.
Okay.
Hopefully that's not a fallacy.
I am going to have somewhat similar picks. I am taking Gannon and Paul, and I'm taking Missy and Owen. I am going to deviate in 2 spots, though. One in each division. First, I'm going to take Haley King again. Just the 5X, man. Like, five points for a top 10 finish from a previous winner in the past 2 years. Like, please sign me up. So, happy to have Haley King over on the FPO side. On the MPO side, I'm taking Simon. He loves this course. He loves playing up here, and is also a previous winner. So, hoping to get a little extra points and get around you. Sneak in a couple extra points to make the gap look less obvious with Simon.
Should we let's do a quick check-in on the overall points leader in
That's okay.
No, not between us. We don't need to do that. Everybody already knows. I mean, that's that's expected. All right, well, we will check in on the overall leaderboard next week with just a couple of events to go. See who is going to take down the overall win. It's not going to be you or me, sadly, Josh.
That's for sure.
So coverage begins tomorrow with round number 1 in the rain. By the way, forgot to mention this, but Ricky Wysocki posting that he has suffered a grade 2 ankle sprain.
Oh,
Brutal.
that sucks.
I
Ankle
mean-
injuries are the worst.
And a grade 2, like,
Yeah.
that may take him out for the rest of the season. Like, is he going to try to play through
I
it?
would say, is he playing this weekend?
I mean, I don't know how he could, unless he's going to throw like a lot of standstills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Oh,
He says game time decision for MVP Open, and his ankle looks gnarly. We'll throw up the Instagram story. So I guess he must have sprained it in practice round or something this week. I don't know how he's going to play. If it's actually a grade 2, that's partial tearing of the ligaments. And I think typically recovery time is like closer to months than weeks.
I am not a professional athlete, but I didn't play disc golf for 6 months after a grade 2 ankle sprain.
Wow. Hopefully it's not as bad as it sounds, because I feel like if it's true, it could not only keep him out this weekend, but he may not play again this season.
Yeah, very, very possible.
Oof. Brutal, man.
Hate injuries.
That's tough. You don't
Maybe
want to see that ever.
Maybe him and Bosa can go hang out.
That's not cool, man. That's not cool. All right. That is going to do it for this week's show. Thank you for being with us. We'll be back with you next week. We got a week and change until USDGC starts on October 9th. So we get a weekend off between MVP and the last major of the season for MPO, and also the last major of the season for FPO. Funny. Or maybe a major adjacent. Is that what we're going to call it this year?
I don't know, man. Just make it a major. Make it a major.
Thank you so much for tuning in. For Josh Mansfield, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long. We'll talk to you next week right here on The Upshot. And don't miss the Rapid React Sunday in the Discord.